Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Switching Reels.
I think we're the only ones that can respond to this. So, hello, Connor.
Hello, Trenton.
It's been a hot sec for us, even though it
has.
won't be that long for everyone else.
Yeah,
You
may
6
have
weeks.
You may have noticed the Christmas and Halloween episodes.
Sorry about that.
Came out well after Christmas and Halloween.
Yeah, because they're not out yet.
Yeah, they probably will be by the time this episode is posted.
Are you sure? Because I'm hoping to post this tomorrow.
Oh, well, never mind then.
Friday.
Never mind then.
But they will be posted.
So
I'm thinking we can do the Christmas one in July.
Wonderful.
Because then it's Christmas in July. I just don't have the same parallel for Halloween.
Halloween in April?
April? Love it. Okay, that's where it's going.
We don't have to do that, Trenton. All right. Well, anyway, let's get to it. Again, we're probably going to miss some questions here because
we threw out the script and we don't know where it is.
Yep.
I found it.
Is it that crumpled piece of paper on the floor?
Yeah, it is. So, what did we watch today?
We watched The Pianist.
Oh, I thought it was Life is Beautiful.
No, it wasn't.
Just kidding.
I like this movie significantly more than Life is Beautiful.
I would agree with that. I think it is better than Life is Beautiful. Yeah, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like Life is Beautiful should be lower, not necessarily that this should be higher, though.
Yeah. If we're gonna go with where this is, like, I think it deserves to be where it is. I think it deserves to be on the list, and I think it's properly placed.
Yeah, I think so too, on both of those. It is not as good as 12 Angry Men.
No.
So.
This was on my top 10 for a long time.
Nice.
And watching it again today, I don't think I would rate it quite as highly as I had before.
Totally.
That said, I think the last 30 minutes or so is just absolutely flawless.
It's phenomenal. The last 30 minutes of this movie are just... I'd even say the last hour.
Yeah.
Which we can go talk about what happens in the last hour after the spoiler wall. But
absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is another Holocaust movie.
Depending on how you define Holocaust movie.
For certain values of Holocaust movie.
Yeah.
We haven't gone on Wikipedia yet to see if Holocaust specifically means internment camps or if it means the time that all the Jews didn't have a good time.
Yeah, I mean...
Because it shows that pretty well.
Yeah. I would say that this one, the reason this doesn't hit like a Holocaust movie to me is because he doesn't ever leave the city that he's
he's in it the entire time.
And because of that, like, I don't necessarily feel like we're getting the image of like, okay, this is what happened to the Jewish people during World War II.
Totally.
I see it as this is what happened to this one dude who was living in a war-torn city.
And was Jewish.
Because
if he wasn't Jewish, a lot of this would have been different.
Okay, that's fair.
And the fact that he's Jewish and we follow him the entire time during World War II.
That's fair. Okay. I would make the caveat, he gets out of the Holocaust.
No, he survives the Holocaust.
He gets out.
No, he survives. He survives. There's nothing...
He does survive, but he gets out of the Holocaust.
I would love to hear it.
All right, we need to...
I guess that's true. We need to go up to the spoiler wall. Okay, before we do that, what's your enjoyment?
My enjoyment on this one, probably still sitting at a 9.
Yeah, no, I think I'm an 8. So,
okay.
This
is a strong 8 to a light 9 for me, but
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was too sad to be too much higher.
And I would probably put technical dead even with that.
Yeah, I'd say
strong
so
8 to a light 9.
Yeah, 8 to 9 as well, I think, for me. Go 8.5 for me.
Yeah. And I will say the one thing that's taking off points for me is I did not realize how choppy the beginning feels.
The beginning feels very choppy. I could not place the time very easily. And even when they had the like dates up, I'm like, I don't know how much time has passed.
Right.
And like continuity of time makes it difficult.
Yeah. And it's something that you do get used to as it goes along.
Absolutely.
yeah, it's a little jarring, and I can't say I'm the biggest fan of it.
Yeah, completely. But I like a lot of the stuff that they did. Like for him keeping up appearances throughout the entire thing.
Oh yeah,
that was really, really cool.
Yeah.
So
so we're gonna be putting up the spoiler wall.
Yeah, spoiler wall. Come jump with us if you've seen it.
As always, like, comment, subscribe, do whatever the hell YouTube tells you to do.
Yeah, and also if you're not on YouTube and it's just audio, then just subscribe to us, guys.
Yeah,
send us an email.
Or send us an email. Yeah.
Yeah, I like sending us emails.
All right. So spoiler wall.
Yeah. So he escapes the Holocaust.
Yes.
Okay.
And I would say that is the moment when the police officer that tries to recruit his brother pulls him out of line. That's the moment he escapes the Holocaust. Because from that point on, he is no longer being corralled with the Jewish population. He is now escaping and surviving what is essentially a war-torn city that the Germans happen to occupy.
So I think to set this up well, I want the summaries now.
Okay. All right.
Okay, let's do this.
This is a film about Władysław Spielman, a real-life pianist who was Jewish in Warsaw, saw the beginnings of the Holocaust and was able to escape it, and then lived for the remaining years of World War II in Warsaw until the Russians came and liberated the city.
I feel like that's solid.
Yeah.
As summaries go. Yeah. No, that's
you're supposed to give your summary now that makes absolutely no sense unless you've seen the film.
Unless you've seen the film. All right, we've got a cool pianist guy. You're not entirely sure what's happening when or where Warsaw is if you're me. And so you have to pause it partway through the movie and ask Connor, where's Warsaw? And then he's like, Poland. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So we go and follow this family at first, which you can kind of tell the main character is the pianist, but you see the whole family for most of this movie. And their living quarters get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until they are living in bunks on top of each other. And then the other side of the movie is his living spaces get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until he's in like an entire house. And also is like gravely injured, has a big beard, and almost gets shot at the very end by the Russians because he got a German coat from a German that was really nice to him. Also, he lived in a hospital which got flamethrowered. He lived in a couple different houses. Multiple of the times people either got arrested or left to live with their child somewhere else, which was good for them. And also got swindled by a guy that was raising funds to give him food, and then I think spent it on vodka. Pretty sure.
That's not said explicitly, but I think the implicit fact that he keeps showing up with vodka and drinking vodka
kind of speaks for vodka. Drink up. And then at the end we try and save the nice German guy that saved his life, but instead he dies
several years later.
Several years later. And that's it.
Wow, yours is way more depressing than mine is.
Because it's a sad movie. It's not happy. Halfway through this movie, he loses his entire family and his dad gets his head bashed in.
Yeah. But at least it's hopeful.
Where? How? Why?
The ending.
What's the end?
The ending is hopeful.
Yeah, sure. He's playing in an orchestra. Great. So nice that the benefit of surviving the Holocaust is you get to play in an orchestra.
I don't know.
It's like Marty McFly going backwards in time and then coming back, and he did nothing except for the fact that he lived going back in time.
Yeah, except this is a story about Władysław Spielman being able to survive all of these horrible things, and then have a life on the other end of it.
Most of the other protagonists of the Holocaust movies.
Not Life is Beautiful.
Not Life is Beautiful. We kind of transition protagonist there at the end.
Oscar Schindler, that man is permanently changed.
He is permanently changed. He did survive. I think this guy was also permanently changed. We just don't see that.
Okay, Oscar Schindler was a wreck at the end.
Yeah, he was. He was not doing okay.
Władysław Spielman was doing all right. It feels horrible to say, but it's true. What other Holocaust movies have we seen? All of our other protagonists have either died or been hollowed out by the events of their life.
Yeah, but the only reason we don't know that we don't think he was is because we don't see anything after that. We see him look for the guy that saved him and then playing an orchestra.
Yeah, but
at the same age.
Okay.
We have no idea what happened after that.
Let's talk themes to hammer home my point.
This. Let's do this.
All right. What themes were in the film?
We got music. There's a fair amount of music that showed up multiple amounts
That's
of
a
times.
motif. It's not a theme.
Ah, dang it. I do this every time. I'm glad to be back. This is nice. Okay, cool. Themes. Got some family in there. Some families that show up every once in a while.
There's one line in this entire film that applies to theme, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, okay, cool. Which one is it?
It's the one about we survive because that's what God wants us to do. At least that's what I hope, or something, or at least that's what we have to believe, or something like that.
At the very end, yeah.
And I think that's the only line that can even be construed as a theme of this. Like, there are some topics, obviously, like, you know, the preservation of the human spirit, that kind of thing. But like, the only true theme, I think, is that one. And so I would make the argument, if that's the theme of the film, then it's hopeful at least on a certain level.
It's like survival for survival's sake can only be so hopeful.
But it's not survival for survival's sake, because the whole idea of this film is you watch him as the ability to play the piano is taken away from him and slowly restored to him in small ways, and until he is able to basically come back to that life, which is very much what he is at the end of the film. And so I don't think it's survival for survival's sake. That's
all that he has.
Okay, but like, even watching the beginning, like, his family is clearly less important to him than the piano.
That's just, but see, you're not helping the hopeful point here. We're just saying that this guy is very sad already, has sad things happen to him the entire time, and survives
workaholic.
I still don't think he escapes the Holocaust because he's never out of danger. Never once in this movie is he out of danger.
Again,
you escape the Holocaust if you go to Russia, or if you go to, like, if you leave the city that you're being persecuted in.
Okay, I mean...
And don't wait until the end of the war, like in every other Holocaust movie.
Again, nobody waits to the end of the war in the other Holocaust. Okay.
All of them end with the war ends, finally, and the Jews can do something okay. And no longer be dying.
Nope. Not the protagonist of Life is Beautiful.
Yeah, he's dead. But his son lives. Basically the same thing.
He gets
also
a tank.
His wife. His wife lives too.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And his son gets a tank.
His son gets a tank.
Except the American soldiers are selfish and they don't give it to him. They're just like, oh, you get a ride. That's it.
That's it. Oh my gosh. Oh, but going into this...
retroactively, spoilers for Schindler's List and Life is Beautiful.
Also Life is Beautiful. Hopefully, if you've been following us so far, you've seen those. But if you haven't, go watch them.
Yeah.
Watch Schindler's List with no preparation, because you can't prepare for it. So just watch it whenever you feel like it.
Watch Schindler's List when you're in a good enough place that you're not going to spiral into depression if you watch it.
That's a better statement. Know yourself. Know if you're going to spiral. If you're going to spiral, don't watch Schindler's List.
Anyway, yeah, I do really love the ending of this film. I think the last half of it is absolutely flawless.
And half is when he escapes the hospital, or is
basically from the time he escapes to the hospital to the end of the film.
Yeah, no, it is really, really gorgeous.
Up to there, like there are some, I would say, like flawless scenes. But again, it's just so choppy that it's hard to give it that perfect score for the first half.
Yeah, and I would say like the first half ends when he gets pulled out of line for me.
Okay.
And then at that point you can kind of see progression of time better.
Which I would call that one of the perfect scenes.
Yeah, no, that was one of the perfect scenes.
Yeah.
It's still so sad.
The other one that has stuck with me, like when I think of this film, I think of two scenes. I think of the one where he's in the apartment and he's playing the piano, and your heart drops the moment he starts playing it because he's already been told, like, don't make any noise, that kind of thing. And he first thing he does is open up the piano
and start playing soundtrack.
And you see you see him playing before you actually see that his fingers are hovering above the keys. So that scene has stuck with me, and the other one that stuck with me is at the end where he almost gets shot.
I was like, I saw him leaving with the German coat on, and I'm like, this is the only way you can differentiate friend from foe, man. Take off your coat for his sake.
I have never had a scene where I was hurting from crying or from laughing so hard in nervous laughter.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I've had scenes where I've laughed, or I've like had pain in my stomach from laughing hard, but that wasn't nervous laughter. And I've had scenes where I've had nervous laughter and it didn't reach that far. That was the only one that's ever done that to me.
Yeah, when he walked out, and I was like, oh, I could see this movie ending here. Like he could just get shot, and
it's close enough to the end that you're like, is this what's gonna happen?
Exactly.
Like, because you can kind of feel that everything's wrapping up, and you're like, oh no,
he's gonna just get shot. This is just going to be a different version of Life is Beautiful.
It's not a different version of Life is Beautiful. It's much better.
It is much better, but it's a Holocaust movie, and I've seen so many of them now, Connor. I'm so tired.
We've just been over this.
I don't want to see any more Holocaust movies. Been over this.
This is the third one.
Sad.
This is the third one, assuming that it qualifies as a Holocaust movie.
Which I think it does. And I feel like there was one more somewhere on this list. I feel like we saw one more. I think I'm combining pieces of Schindler's List and Life is Beautiful, but I could have sworn that there was one more, and I can't remember.
I mean, there was Saving Private Ryan, which is a World War II movie.
Yeah, which isn't the same because that doesn't deal with the Holocaust directly.
No.
I had to look at the list again.
Looking at the list, yeah. As far as I remember,
says having memorized it.
No. If I remember correctly, we don't have another Holocaust movie for quite some time.
Okay.
Like
a couple years.
At least a year.
Okay. That's at least good. At least.
And we've had a little bit of a break since Life is Beautiful.
Not long enough.
Not long enough? Yeah, that's fair.
It hurts my heart every time. Just the absolute, like, every person is a person in this movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Every one of them has a life. Every one of them has a family if they have one.
Yeah.
Every one of them was brought up in a culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's insane to think about. Like with the scene where they're across the way from a German raid, where they come into this family's house and tell everyone to stand up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then the grandpa can't stand up because he's in a wheelchair, and they freaking wheel this guy onto the balcony and chuck him off.
Yeah.
Like, this is 4 or 5 stories up, and they spend a good amount of time telling you this is 4 or 5 stories up.
Yeah.
They don't waste time here.
Yeah.
And, like, it's awful.
Yeah.
That as well as, like, the kid being beaten to death.
Oh, yeah.
And
as he's crawling under the wall.
Yeah, and, like, this one has, like, so Schindler's List has a lot of, like, needless killing.
Yeah.
But I feel like this one just made it even worse. You know? Like, it was just randomly that people would have to step out of line and get shot.
Yeah.
And it was the fact that it was in a town is worse.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, he doesn't escape the Holocaust after he gets put out of line. How many people still die after that?
A lot.
That are Jews.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like, again, this is an issue of definitions, but I would say that the reason that this is not a Holocaust film is it is not dealing with the systematic killing of Jews.
What do you mean? There was a system in place.
This was not a
dying.
system. This was not a system. This was random. This was, we know there are some Jewish people here. We're just going to go raid the place.
But even
and
whenever they were working, when they were working.
Oh, yeah. They just pulled people at random out of line.
I don't know if it was random. We don't know. The Germans don't say anything. Whenever you ask them questions, they shoot you in the head.
Yeah.
Like, there's a piece of evidence for it here.
And again, this was prior to the point where I say he escaped the Holocaust movie.
Yeah, that one was before the Holocaust. But we still have random killings after he escapes the Holocaust.
Actually, I don't know if we have random ones after that.
Yeah. When he gets pulled out after the work detail. Because the guy that we see get shot is the guy that hides him after he's gotten pulled out of line.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So that's one. And then we also still see everyone that was like a quote-unquote Jewish rebel get killed at least twice.
What do you mean?
So there was a battle where they bring out this like artillery gun and he's watching the one of the ghettos.
Yeah.
And the Jews are throwing Molotovs and stuff at him.
Oh, I didn't know. I don't know if that's established as the Jewish people.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yeah, because what he said was, I shouldn't have left. I should have been in there and died with them. This was the same guy, because they were talking about it the whole time. That's what they were preparing for.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
All of that. And then when, after he leaves that place and goes to the one with the hospital, there's at least one instance of Jewish uprising because of the armbands that they were still wearing.
Oh, I didn't see the armbands.
The armbands were there.
Okay. Either way.
Anyway. Whew, Holocaust movies.
Again, this is a definition.
To chill out.
I do think that this is a definition issue, though. Like, I'll back off.
We'll look at it. Maybe I'll even look at it now. We could talk about themes or something.
I mean, I think the themes are basically covered in that one scene.
I think so too.
If there's any like real complaint I have about this, it's that there are certain things that this movie just doesn't have. I don't think it has a whole lot of themes. I don't think it has a whole lot of character development.
No.
It has some great character establishment, but even Władysław Spielman, like, we don't see his character change all that much. We see him go through a lot, but we don't see him start making different decisions than we think he would have made at the beginning of the film or anything like that.
No, he's pretty consistent the entire time.
Yeah. What are you seeing?
So they do mention systemic, which makes a lot of sense. And they like mentioned the specific camps, but generally it was still saying was the genocide of Jews during World War II.
Okay.
And that's like where it ends. If you were a Jew and you died, you were part of the Holocaust. Is my definition.
Okay. That seems like a really broad definition.
Yeah, it does.
I feel like you can make a smaller definition if you want to.
And you were killed by a German. Fine.
No, because that doesn't work either.
Yeah, it does.
No.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
It absolutely does. I don't see any air shoes with this one now, actually.
I starved to death because I ran out of food while I was in an internment camp.
See, like I said.
That's not being killed by a German. That's me dying.
No, that's being killed by a German. They give you food.
Well, they aren't giving me food, but maybe I just couldn't get a hold of any food because the food was super scarce in those camps.
Yeah, and whose fault's that?
It's the Germans.
It's the Germans!
Just because it's their fault doesn't necessarily mean that it was direct.
What?
I feel like we're in
Really weird waters now. Yeah, we're not. We're done. I think we're good. It's up to the viewer now.
Yeah.
You can go and decide what the Holocaust means.
Tell us in the comments below.
Was this a Holocaust movie or wasn't it? I feel like you'll actually get a fair number of supporters on this one because like this movie is shot from a different perspective than the other Holocaust movies. Like it isn't focused on internment camps. It's focused on the exceptions to the internment camps, which I think is really cool and an awesome like thing to see.
Yeah. Also, Władysław Spielman is an incredible pianist, and there are some recordings of him floating around. Definitely go check him out if you have any interest whatsoever in piano music.
Like that, if the guy that have subbing for him has anything to say, like that was gorgeous.
Yeah,
like the piano in this movie was phenomenal the entire time.
I honestly wanted more scenes like that.
I know. Yeah. Like it was really nice that they have that in the credits, and you have the you have him in the cafe a little bit, but like the one scene with the German officer is just stunning.
Which that scene alone, I think, is part of the reason that this movie is so high.
Yeah,
like
again, I think the last half hour is the reason the movie is so high. Like,
but I think, like, even if you had to pick like the best section of this film, it would be from the time that he starts opening the can and it rolls over to the boots of the German officer. And he has him come in and play piano for him.
Yep.
And decides that he's going to
help him
survive. Like, yeah, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I love this film.
Yeah. No, it is really good.
I just don't have a whole lot more to say about it.
Yeah. And it was a good...
also, Adrian Brody did a great job as well.
Who's Adrian Brody?
Yeah, he's the main character.
Oh, cool. He did a fantastic job. Like, just such a good job.
Yeah.
Whew.
Also, every other actor in this movie is relatively no name, which is incredible to me, considering...
Everyone was so good.
Yeah.
Like the German officer?
The German officer was incredible.
He was really, really good.
Very convincing.
Very convincing. Good job being a German.
I mean, some of that is also, and I've realized this, it is harder to gauge good versus bad actors when you're watching a film that's in another language.
Yeah.
And the German officer had no lines in English.
Yeah. So, it was all in German.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, I don't know German well enough to know what natural German sounds like.
Right, yeah.
No idea.
So, I don't know.
It was good. Yeah, no, it was a very, very good movie. Would recommend it, but again, only if you're in the stomach for a Holocaust movie again.
I would be more willing to watch this than Schindler's List on most days.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you don't necessarily need to be in a place where you're like...
And Life is Beautiful.
Yeah.
So...
You don't need to necessarily be in a place where you're like, I'm going to fall into a depressive spiral if I watch this. You probably won't from this one.
No.
There's more beauty in this than there is horror.
Yeah, there is more beauty than... is there?
It's close.
Again, you decide.
There's probably more horror in this.
I'm pretty sure there's
beauty.
More. He gets jaundice.
Yeah, but the guy tells him jaundice only really affects your looks.
It makes you look weird.
It doesn't. It's not actually a real disease.
Yeah, it's not like you were on your deathbed for a sec. You got a pediatrician to come in and look at you.
Okay, what was in the can?
Yeah, I want to know that too. If you guys know, after watching this movie, what was in the can? Like, we can probably go back and like translate it. Not translate it, just Google what it was.
My best guess is long watermelons.
So Connor's thinking long watermelon, which makes complete sense. And I'm thinking,
but it fits in a can like that big.
I'm thinking like a pickle or a cucumber cousin. That's what I'm thinking. Especially if it's canned.
It's far more
canned watermelon.
It's far more likely that you're right. But I saw the picture. It was a long watermelon.
Yeah, it did look a lot like a long watermelon. Even if it had like hexagonal sides or something. It was really strange.
Yeah.
Good. What's next week?
Next week is Parasite.
Nice.
Yeah. Have you seen that one?
No, I have not seen any sort of pairs, especially ones I can see.
Join us next time when we watch Parasite.
Parasite! Anything I should know?
This one's weird. It's a weird movie.
Okay.
I like it.
Is it aliens?
Oh, also,
aliens.
This has pretty much nothing else to do with it, but I had a long-running tradition where every time the Oscars would announce their nominations, I would make sure I'd see all of the films in theaters.
Nice.
And then I would make my prediction as to what they were going to pick and what my favorite film was.
Yay. That sounds awesome.
And I was correct several years running until Parasite won.
Oh.
And it pissed me off.
Because there was
I can't remember. I remember there being one that I was like, this is pure Oscar bait, and it's good Oscar bait, which is usually what they're looking for. Parasite was in another language, and it was way too artistic for anything that the Oscars would ever pick.
Someone bribed.
I'm not saying like the other ones aren't artistic. What I'm saying is like this was playing to an art crowd. And to your point, every Oscar nomination is a bribe.
Oh, that makes sense.
Like they send lots and lots of gifts to make sure that their film is for your consideration. From my understanding, started in the film world.
Wow.
Like because you should consider this for. Anyway. Yeah, that's my semi-cynical, but also very much based in a lot of conversations I had with people that were there. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see it next week, and I'll see if it's too artsy or something. I don't know.
If it's what? Oh, too artsy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, undoubtedly for the Oscars, I had several people that were like, your streak is fine. Nobody expected it to win.
Yeah, okay, good. Yay. Okay, cool.
But it killed my tradition.
Yeah. Oh, no.
If I'm honest, being in a place where I had less time to make sure that I went and saw all the films is really what killed it.
Maybe more of it. And then the next year was the start of COVID anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So.
Good luck on that one.
All right. So now that we've talked about Parasite for, 15 minutes?
I think it's only been about 5. But how do we end this?